November 3rd, 2017. Another week has gone by and more information comes out showing just exactly how big a crook Hillary Clinton is. It never ends, folks. Will it ever end? I don't know. I don't think it's ever going to end. Uh, this week, apparently, Donna Brazile, the former DNC head, she took over after Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign after all the emails were exposed. Podesta emails were exposed and showed the rigging of the election, or at least showed the favoritism of the DNC towards Hillary Clinton over Bernie Sanders and a few other things rather embarrassing to the DNC. Anyway, she had to resign, and Donna Brazile took over. Now, Donna Brazile has written a book, came out this week. Donna Brazile, as you might recall, is the woman that was accused and apparently did leak questions from one of the debates to Hillary Clinton so that she would be prepared for the question. Well, she's written a book. In this book, she exposes the fact that the DNC was under the control of Hillary Clinton a year in advance of the primary, well in advance of the primary, 2 years in advance of the primary. Apparently, after the 2012 election, the DNC was heavily in debt, $24 million in debt. Barack Obama left the DNC in debt. Now, when they were in debt, near bankruptcy, Hillary Clinton swooped in with money to relieve the pressure on them. And apparently, Donna Brazile found the smoking gun, so to speak, the memo or the agreement that showed that Hillary Clinton will give this X amount of money, and the way she gave it's a whole other story. It leads to a lot of election laws that were violated, a lot of campaign money election laws. But anyway, it said that she had to have control over how the money was spent, who gets what, when, where, and how. She basically had complete control over the DNC prior to any primaries, prior to any debates, prior to anything. This way back in 2014, early 2015, she had control of the DNC, and she funneled all kinds of money to the DNC illegally, or at least in violation of the way it's supposed to be done. She funneled it. It's like money laundering the way she did it through each state. Each state's allowed to contribute. Each state's PAC or whatever, PACs in these different states are allowed to donate so much money to the DNC, X amount of money, and then they get to pull more. They get to pull the money from the DNC, but then Hillary was demanding that they give it back. I mean, it was ridiculous. She shouldn't have that. No way in hell should she have that kind of control prior to anybody even coming out to run against her. Now that kind of explains how she ended up with all them superdelegates that were so crucial to her primary victory over Bernie Sanders. Now Bernie Sanders had no chance, and no Democrat had a chance. She had locked up, what was it, like 550 superdelegate votes before the first vote was ever cast. In the first primary, she had locked up all those votes. Ridiculous. How does that happen? Okay, we've talked about this before. She had them. That's why no reputable Democrat would ever run when she ran. They knew. Number one, they knew she had the superdelegates wrapped up. Number two, they knew she was a ruthless and ruthless. I don't even want to say the word I want to call her, but she's ruthless, despicable woman who would do anything and destroy anybody that's in her way to what she deemed was her rightful ownership of power in the United States. Okay, this woman, we dodged a huge bullet when Trump beat her. We dodged a gigantic bullet. This is the most corrupt woman in the history of this nation. Okay, um, so that's probably no reputable. I mean, think back. Who ran against her in the primary? Can anybody, besides Bernie Sanders, who ran against her? Does anybody know? I mean, I had to look it up because no reputable person would run against her. I had to look it up. Here's some of the names. Martin O'Malley, he was the governor of Maryland. Lawrence Lessig, he was a professor at Harvard. Lincoln Chafee, governor of Rhode Island. Jim Webb, senator of Virginia. Never heard of these guys. Never heard of them. So these must be the guys that didn't know just how knee-deep she had already wrapped everything up. Now here's the list, and this is what I find interesting. This is a list of people that did not run against her, would not run against her. Semi-reputable Democrats that, would maybe pose a threat to her. Guys like Jerry Brown, who I think is a clown, but he's California governor, he's Democrat. He didn't run. Why didn't he run? Al Gore, former vice president, he didn't run against her. Joe Biden, who was the current vice president, he wouldn't run against her. Howard Dean, a former DNC chair and a Vermont governor, he didn't run against her. These are people that are well-known Democrats. Andrew Cuomo, the governor of New York, he wouldn't run against her. John Kerry, Secretary of State, he wouldn't run against her. Why won't these people run against her? Because they knew. They knew. She had everything wrapped up. She had the money. She had the superdelegates. And they knew that she would dig up any piece of dirt or invent any piece of dirt to destroy them. This woman is despicable. And we need, I don't know, the wheels of justice move slow, and I understand that. But good Lord, they've got a special counsel investigating Trump for Russian collusion, which is complete and utter bullshit. It is not any fact whatsoever. Based on any fact whatsoever. It's based on a Russian dossier that was made up. That's how that thing got started. And we got a special counsel for that. And we can't get a special counsel to look into these egregious crimes that Hillary Clinton has committed, or allegedly committed anyway. It's worth looking into. Shouldn't there be a special counsel looking into her? Why isn't the Justice Department looking into it? Jeff Sessions, I like Jeff Sessions, Attorney General. He should have never recused himself from the Russia probe. But why isn't he not looking into Hillary Clinton? Well, why is he not appointed a large portion of his investigators to look into this Uranium One scandal, to look into them buying this Russian dossier from Fusion GPS and Christopher Steele? Why hasn't they looked into the money laundering and the election campaign law violations? Why hasn't they looked into this DNC thing? All of this stuff, the deleted emails, 33,000 of them. Wasserman Schultz, she resigned. She's trying to get a computer back from the Capitol Police because why? There's emails on that computer that you don't want nobody to see. I'm telling you, it never ends. It never ends. Every week, more comes out, and let's hope that at some point the justice is served. It's supposed to be equal justice under the law. Nobody's supposed to be above it. And for 30 years, it would seem the Clintons, and especially Hillary Clinton, are above it. And they've been getting away with it so long, it's to the point where she expects to get away with it. Nobody's ever going to question her. The media will not. They won't even mention it. Donna Brazil wrote this book, and the three main networks, CBS, ABC, NBC, and when the excerpt came out about her exposing this Hillary Clinton controlling the DNC with money, they didn't even mention it on the news. Not one mention. About the only channel that will broach the subject is Fox News. And I know. Look, my Democrat friends, my liberal friends, they're gonna, oh, Fox News. Well, there you go. It's Fox. You know what? They tell you the good and the bad. Okay. Only thing you can find out on the other channels is how bad Trump is. They won't ever tell you anything else. At least with Fox News and some of the other online news sources that I go to, you get the story. You get the whole story. I try to expand. I read and look at all kinds of different publications, and try to form my own opinion. And you can't trust the mainstream media. You just can't trust them to tell you the truth, because what they'll do is they won't tell you anything. They'll just keep your mouth shut. They are in complete cahoots with the Democrat Party, and and until we get some honest media, we're going to have to do this kind of legwork to expose them. Now, I'm going to wait and hope that Jeff Sessions or whoever gets the job done with Hillary Clinton. But we have to keep yelling. We have to keep letting people know that this woman has done things that have never been done in this country before, and gotten away with it. And it's time that she pays for it. It's time. It's time. It's time for this to end. It's time for the swamp to be cleaned. And she is the swamp. And Barack Obama, 8 years as president, I don't know what kind of president he could have been, but in my opinion, he made the biggest mistake of his presidency the first week of his presidency, when he infected his administration with Hillary Clinton, when he put her as Secretary of State. Now, why he did that, I have no idea, but that, everything after that, he was doomed, because he introduced the virus into his own administration, and now the stink is on that administration, and everything that's happened in that administration, most of it can be directly pointed back at Hillary Clinton. And then he learned some tricks from her, and he did some stupid things himself. I was going to talk about the unmasking this week, but I didn't get to it because of the down in Brazil story. But one other thing I wanted to bring up is today, Bo Bergdahl, the hero, Bo Bergdahl, according to Barack Obama, served with honor and distinction. So says Barack Obama. Had him at the White House, had the parents at the White House. Traded 5 terrorist leaders to get him back. A deserter, a man who left his unit, a man who, in a combat zone, left his unit, deserted his unit, and caused countless people to be wounded and killed, looking for him to try and get him back. He did it selfishly. He did it cowardly. And they don't give him any prison time today. He doesn't get any prison time. A dishonorable discharge, reduced to the rank of E1. That's it? Are you friggin' kidding me? This guy deserves serious time, and he didn't even get a day. Now they say he served 5 years with the Taliban, or the terrorists there in Afghanistan. I don't give a shit. That guy caused American deaths and deserves to be in prison for the rest of his life. And they didn't give him a day in jail. I don't know what the hell is going on, but anybody who's ever served in this country, it's a slap in the face to them to know that this deserter, this coward, gets to go home a free man. It infuriates me. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Let me know what you think. Send me a message. Share this video if you want. It never ends, folks, and let's hope we can get our country back at some point. That's all I got for you today. See you next week.